morning to all my dear students. Hope you all are fine at home. Today we'll start a new lesson in our communicative English. Today we'll be starting lesson number 5. Who did Patrick's homework? This is an interesting story. I know, dear children, you all hate to do the homework that the teachers give. So Patrick is one of them who doesn't like doing his homework. So how did Patrick manage to do his work? Or who did his homework and how Patrick got A+ grade in his exams? That is the whole story about this lovely little young child. The not a little child. I think you will resemble very much with your story also when it comes to doing the homework. So dear children, in this lesson we will learn how Patrick started doing his work and he started enjoying his work when he did, and when he got the good results he was very happy and he was very much appreciated by his parents also. So all of you will first write today's date. It is 12/10/2020 and you will write here CW classwork. Now we'll start our work with reading the heading of the lesson. Who did Patrick's homework? Starter kit. Write down on a sheet of paper the names of all the children in your class. Then put this question to each one. Do you enjoy doing your homework? Yes or no? Count the yeses and nos and compare your findings with those of your partners. Now the small activity that you can do in the class, that write the name of all the students that are there in the class and then make a column and ask a question that do you like to do your homework or not. If they say yes or they say no, then you count how many yeses are there and how many nos are there. Normally the no will be more compared to yes, because you all love to play rather than doing your homework. Now we'll start the lesson. Now get set. Patrick never did his homework. Too boring, he would say. Instead of doing his homework, he loved to play the tag games and video games with other children in the street. His teachers often said, Patrick, do your homework or you won't get to the next class. Now, there was a child named Patrick, as you can all know from the heading only, who did the Patrick's homework. So, the Patrick is the hero of the entire story. The story revolves around this child, Patrick. So, he goes to the school every day, but he doesn't like to do his homework, as you people also don't like to do your homework. Instead, he would like to play games, and like the tag games and the video games. The tag games are the chasing games that are played by the children. With the children in his street, he used to play with them either the video games or the tag games. Now his teacher often used to tell that Patrick, you start doing your homework, otherwise you will not get the next class or you will not move to the next class. That means you will not get good marks so that you can qualify to go to the next class. Now moving on to page number 47, we started the lesson on page number 46. Now page number 47, we start reading. It was St. Patrick's Day. Patrick saw his cat playing with a little doll. He grabbed it away from the cat. To his surprise, it wasn't a doll at all, but a man of the tiniest size. The tiny man wore a little woolen shirt and an old-fashioned breeches. On his head, he had a tall, pointed hat, much like a witch's. The tiny man was, in fact, an elf. Now, here it was a St. Patrick's Day. Now, the story starts from here. What magic happened how he started doing the homework? What was that magic that made him do the homework? So one day it was Patrick saw his cat playing with a little doll. There's a cat in the Patrick's home. You can see this cat, and he thought that that the cat was playing with a little doll. So he took he grabbed it away from the cat. That means उसने जो है cat के हाथ में से वो doll को खींच लिया. Grab means to take it away, snatch it away from the cat. He took that doll away. But to his surprise, when he grabbed that doll, he saw that it was not the doll, but it was the tiniest man of the tiniest size. Tiny मतलब एकदम छोटे से भी छोटा size जो होता है ना, minute एकदम वैसे size का एक इंसान था. It was a man of the tiniest size. एकदम छोटा, जितना छोटा हम इमेजिन कर सकते हैं उतना छोटे साइज का एक मैन था. एंड व्हाट वाज दैट मैन वेयरिंग? द टाइनी मैन वाज वेयरिंग अ लिटिल वुलन शर्ट. एक छोटा सा वुलन शर्ट पहना था, और ब्रीचेस, ओल्ड फैशन ब्रीचेस, मतलब इट्स अ टाइप ऑफ अ पैंट दैट वर यूज्ड टू बी worn in the olden days. And he was wearing a pointed hat that we always see in the witch's head. जो हम कार्टून कैरेक्टर्स देखते हैं उसके अंदर जो विच होती है वो जो हैट पहनती है, somewhat like this. You can see this is the picture of the Patrick. This is his cat and this is the tiniest man that he is holding in his hand. तो उसने जो है पैंट कैसी पहनी? This is the breeches जो ऊपर ऐसे चढ़ा के रखे पैंट. ये शॉर्ट ट्राउजर टाइप होता है. इट्स अ शॉर्ट पैंट which the length of it is close to the knee only. तो ऐसे छोटे छोटे पैंट्स पहना था, एक वुलन शर्ट था और हैट था जो कि लॉन्ग पॉइंटेड था. एंड it looked as if the witches used to wear those hats. That type of hat he was wearing. The tiny man was in fact an elf. What was a tiny man? A tiny man was an elf. Now what are the elves? These are certain characters that have been generated which have the super magical powers they have. So it was normally these type of characters are created in the stories to make the stories more interesting than the children's story, mostly to create it more interesting. तो एक छोटा सा character introduce किया, which is a elf. इसका नाम क्या है? What is the name of this character? It is the elf. It has all the super magical powers with it. Save me, yelled the elf. Don't give me back to that cat. I will grant you a wish. Please believe me, this is my promise. Now he was playing with the cat, so cat was grabbing him. So he said that he save me from that cat. I don't want to play with that cat, so you save me and I will give you a promise. These are my words, that if you will save me from this cat, then I will give you a wish and I will complete that wish also. Patrick couldn't believe that he could be so lucky. Here was the answer to all his problems. So he said, okay, I won't give you back to the cat if you do all my homework till the end of the term. It is only 35 days from now. If you do the job really well, I could even get A+. Now Patrick was really very happy and little bit surprised that solution to the problem had he had got the solution to his problem. What was his problem? His problem was doing the homework. But he didn't like to do the homework. So now what did he thought? That if I ask for a wish to do the homework, that elf would do my homework, then it will be the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I can be a very, very lucky person then. So he thought that, oh really, I'm so lucky that I have got a person with a magical powers that can grant me a wish. So he said that it is till the end of the term, if you'll do my homework, then I will can really get good marks in the class also. The little man's face wrinkled like a dishcloth. He kicked his leg and doubled his fist. He grimaced and scolded and pursued his lips. Oh, I'm cursed, he said, but I have promised, now I will do it. Hearing that he has to do the homework, that tiny man's face wrinkled. That means he became very sad like a dishcloth. मतलब कि हम जैसे कपड़े से पोंछ कर कैसा हो जाता है, कपड़े को पोंछते हैं, अगर बर्तन को कपड़े से पोंछते तो कपड़ा कैसा हो जाता है, ऐसा wrinkled हो गया उसका फेस. और he kicked his leg and doubled his fist. मतलब उसको बहुत गुस्सा है कि मेरे को ऐसा काम करना पड़ेगा कि to do the homework that he might also not have liked to do that. But he said, because I have promised you, now I have to do it. And true to his words, the little elf began to do Patrick's homework, but there was a little glitch. The elf did not always know what to do, so he needed help. Now the Patrick had given a elf had given a promise to the Patrick to do his homework, so he started doing that Patrick's homework. But there was a little problem with that also, because elf did not know all the things how to do and what to do, so he needed the help of the Patrick. Help me, he would say, and the Patrick had to help him in whatever way. Now, many a times when he started doing the homework of the Patrick, he would say, help me, he would shout like that. And Patrick had to help him because elf was not knowing many things. I don't know this word, the elf squeaked while reading Patrick's homework. Get me a dictionary, know what's ever better. Look up the word yourself and sound it out by each letter. Now the problem started. Now the real problem starts, and the real story starts, is how the Patrick was put into trouble by giving his work to the elf. Now many times elf would say that I don't know, you have to help me. So certain words he were not able to read, so he said get me a dictionary. तो उसने क्या बोला कि क्योंकि elf को पढ़ना नहीं आता था, बहुत सारी चीज़ें उसको समझ में नहीं आती थी, बहुत सारे वर्ड्स उसको पता नहीं लगते थे, तो उसने ऐसे बोला कि एक डिक्शनरी लेके आओ. और उसने क्या बोला, डिक्शनरी लो, देखो, और फिर वर्ड बाय वर्ड योरसेल्फ, मतलब अपने आप उसको वर्ड को ढूंढो एंड साउंड इट आउट बाय ईच लेटर, और एक एक लेटर करके उसमें से बोलो. When it came to maths, Patrick was all more confused. He was no good at calculations and multiplication tables. और जब मैथ्स की बारी आती थी तो उससे भी ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होती थी, क्योंकि वो उसमें बिल्कुल भी अच्छा नहीं था, because he was not knowing calculations and the multiplication tables, as you people also forget to multiplication tables. So same way, Patrick had a lot of problem doing the maths. What are tables? The elf shrieked. Now elf को तो पता ही था tables क्या होते हैं, तो he asked, what are tables? When we elves never need such things: addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. So what did the elf said? Elf said that we elves don't need any such things like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So we know nothing of these. Here, sit down besides me and help me. You simplify must guide me. So the elf said that we don't know the maths, and so he told Patrick to sit beside him, मतलब कि मेरे पास आकर बैठो और इसको simplify करो और मुझे समझाओ कि मुझे क्या करना है. So Patrick had to guide the elf in solving all the problems in maths also, and then the lessons in the history had to be done. Now, after doing the maths, the Patrick has to guide elf in doing all the maths problems, because he was not doing maths at all. And then he also had to help elf in doing the history homework. Elf know nothing of human history. To them it was a mystery. For elves, humans are, because he is a small creature, that is an alien sort of a creature, so he's not knowing anything about the human history. So everything for him looked like a mystery. कुछ अजायब सी अद्भुत सी चीज़ें उसको लगती थी ह्यूमन हिस्ट्री जब वो पढ़ता था तब एल्फ को. Said the elf, and in history also Patrick had to do all the reading and writing work himself. तो अब क्या हुआ, अल्टीमेटली तो पैट्रिक को ही सारा होमवर्क करना पड़ा हिस्ट्री का, और उसके बाद मैथ्स का, और रीडिंग और राइटिंग सब उसको खुद ही करना पड़ा, बिकॉज एल्फ वॉज नॉट नोइंग एनी ऑफ दी थिंग्स लाइक मैथ्स एंड हिस्ट्री. वी वॉज अनअवेयर ऑफ दोज थिंग्स. मूविंग ऑन टू पेज नंबर 49. The little elf had already become a shouter, but now he got even louder. Go to the library, he roared. Get me books, more and more books, and you can help me read them also. Now what happened was that now elf एल्फ जो था उसको हेल्प करने के लिए आया था, प्रॉमिस किया था, पर उसका उल्टा हो गया। एल्फ ने क्या किया, एल्फ जो है उसके ऊपर शाउट करने लगा। एल्फ स्टार्टेड मास्टरिंग हिम, यू गो एंड गेट मी द डिक्शनरी, एंड ही डे बाय डे हिज shouts were getting louder and louder. So he was instead of doing his work, he used to tell Patrick to do the work. He used to tell, go and get the books from library, help me in reading the books and all that. So he used to give the orders to the Patrick. In fact, every day and in every way, the little elf became more and more of a nag. मतलब डे बाय डे जो था एल्फ का प्रॉब्लम बढ़ता ही जा रहा था। मतलब कि उसको हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ जो था प्रॉब्लम ही जो था पैट्रिक के अंदर दिखने लगा था। Patrick had to work harder and than ever, and he had to stay up late at night. He had never felt so weary. So day by day he had to work more harder to get the elf get the things and tell him how to do the things, and this way he had to work late at night, and he was so tired. Never ever before that much of work Patrick had done. मतलब पहले कभी पैट्रिक ने इतना काम नहीं किया था, तो अभी वो बहुत ज़्यादा थक जाता था, रात को देर तक जाग के अपना सब काम पूरा करता था। Every day he went to the school with his eyes puffed and blurry. और रोज जब वो स्कूल जाता था तो क्या होता था, क्योंकि देर तक रात को जगता था तो वो देर से ही सोता था, और सुबह स्कूल के टाइम पे तो as you know you have to wake up early in the morning to go to school. So every day he went to the school with his eyes puffed and blurry. मतलब आंखें कैसी होती थी उसकी, सूजी हुई आंखें होती थी, क्योंकि वो अच्छे से अपनी नींद पूरी नहीं करता था। Finally the last day of school arrived and the elf was free to go. Now the last day, that means the 35th day of the school arrived, and that was the last day. So elf was made free to go. As for the homework, there was no more to be done, so he quietly and slyly slipped out of the back door. मतलब कि और कुछ होमवर्क करना नहीं था, तो एल्फ भी क्या हुआ, चुपके से और सीक्रेटली जो है वो पीछे के दरवाजे से वो घर के बाहर निकल गया। Patrick got A+ from all his teachers and he was so happy. His classmates were amazed. His teachers smiled and were full of praise for him, and his parents wondered what had happened to him. Now when the exam was over and all the school was over, the term was complete, so Patrick got A+ from all his teachers, and all the teachers were very happy to see that once a boy who was not doing his homework, he felt so bored in doing the homework, is now doing his work so nicely. So all the teachers gave him A+. As all the classmates were also surprised. Amazed means they were all surprised to see Patrick getting A+ grade, because he never used to do his homework. So he never used to complete his work also. So all the teachers were full of praises of him. मतलब सारे teachers ने उसकी बहुत ज़्यादा तारीफ की. And his parents also wondered that what suddenly happened to the Patrick. Page number 50. Patrick was now a model kid. He did all his homework. He cleaned his room and did all his course. That means abhi Patrick now became a model child. That means there was so much change, you can say rather a U-turn in Patrick. Once he was not doing anything, and now he was doing everything on his own. All his works, course means all his work, cleaning his room, doing his homework, and everything he used to do on his own. He remained cheerful and was never rude, and now there was a change in nature also. He became more happy. Why he became more happy? Because when you work hard, you get a lot of appreciation. Everybody is full of praises for you. You get, your parents also appreciate you. You get attention from each and every person. So now the Patrick was very cheerful, and he was never rude to anyone. Now he was a changed child. Now Patrick still thought he did made that tiny man do all his homework, but I have a secret to share with you. It's just between you and me. It isn't the elf who did Patrick's homework. He had done all by himself. Yes, unknowingly Patrick को तो अभी तक ऐसा ही दिमाग में था कि it was the elf who did his homework, or he made elf do his homework. But basically, if you think, the elf made him do the homework. Elf was always shouting on him and doing the bossism on him to do the homework. He was always shouting, you bring this, you do this, you do this, and day by day his shouts were getting louder and louder. So elf made Patrick will do all his work on his own, but still Patrick didn't understand that he was only one to do all his work and getting the A plus grade. So dear children, if you work hard and with wholeheartedly, if you do your work, you are definitely going to get good results. Whether it is your exams, whether it is your any competition you are taking part in, whatever you want to do in life, do achieve it by hard work, and wholeheartedly you get into that thing to gain it. So we come to the end of the lesson. I hope you all have understood and got some moral from the story. So we'll do the exercise in the next video.